one of the things I went into is investment banking, right? Fantastic career, learned a lot, still doing it now. But my passion is to coach people and speak to people just like you. Now, it wasn't easy when I started because I had to start building credibility, I had to start studying. And it was a lot easier to procrastinate, go out with my friends, spend some time. But the way I was able to overcome it and the way you guys can overcome it is start to think of your future self. What would your future self say and how is it going to impact you in the present? And that's how you're able to overcome procrastination. And the next thing is to interrupt. How do you interrupt? You interrupt by taking one small action. Because when you take one small action, you detour the course of procrastination and your brain starts to build a muscle that gives you the confidence not to procrastinate. So the three things that drive you towards action are as follows: seeking clarity, making decisions, and being consistent. How many of you know this gentleman? Yes, Tiger Woods, probably the best golfer in the world. Well, in August the 13th, 1993, there was a gentleman in a red polo shirt and he stunned the golfing world by winning the Masters tournament. And everyone was shocked. He won the Masters tournament with a record-breaking 18 under par. Everybody was surprised. But there were two people that weren't surprised. It was Tiger Woods and Earl Woods, his father. And when they spoke to Earl Woods, his father, they said that Tiger Woods had been visualizing this since the age of 5. He had been picturing it in his mind. And so Tiger Woods had an interview, and they interviewed him and they said, how did you do it? How were you able to do this and get this record-breaking 18 under par? And Tiger Woods actually didn't have an interview prepared or an acceptance speech. Why? Because he'd only visualized winning the tournament. So I want you guys, whether it's applying for jobs, breaking into investment banking, starting your business, passing your exams, I only want you to visualize success. Okay? Again, I only want you to visualize success, because when you visualize success, or when you visualize the outcome, as you said, you're able to do the activity. But when you're not able to visualize and when you don't have clarity, that's when you procrastinate, because you're unsure of the future outcome that you're going to go through. And so I want you to focus so clearly that the day that your dreams turn into reality, you experience deja vu. Or, I like this, wherever focus goes, energy flows. Now, I'm a man of practical things, so how do you do this practically? There's something called the results planning method, or known as RPM. Now, RPM is the idea where you have a result and then you plan, you reverse engineer from that result so you're able to achieve it. You see, whenever I'm at work or whenever I'm working on a deal, when I was an analyst in particular, most people would come and say, what do you need to do? The problem is, what you need to do is an okay question, but when you ask yourself what you need to do, you usually respond to whatever is most pressing or whatever is most pleasurable. And whatever is most pressing is, like you said, the deadline, right? When the deadline is pressing, you're going to take action. But what you need to do is an okay question, but we can ask ourselves a better question. Who do you think, any of you can answer what question that should be? Sorry? How are we getting there? Anyone else? Okay. What is the result? What is the outcome? What am I looking to achieve? Because when you know the outcome, you can inform the activity. You see, when I showed you the area I came from, if I started thinking about what I need to do, I would have had a long list. I would have had to take 2 buses and travel nearly 2 hours to go to school. I would have had to spend hours in the library because I didn't have the books available in my school. I had to start networking with hundreds of different people because I didn't have the access. But instead of asking myself what I needed to do, I said, what do I need to become? Because when I asked myself what I needed to become, your brain is like a heat-seeking missile. And when you ask really good questions, it goes directly to your target. And then you're able to find faster and more creative ways to get to your desired goal. Does that make sense, everybody? Good. So just 4 questions. You ask yourself, decide the outcome, determine why you're doing it, determine how you will get there, and schedule when you're going to do it. Because there are 3 things that happen when you have clarity. The first thing is that there's increased activation in your prefrontal cortex. Just gonna break it down. It's the part of your brain that's responsible for executive functions such as goal setting, decision making, and problem solving. And this is heightened when you have the clarity because you're focused. The second thing is reduction in the amygdala. This is the part of your brain known as the fight or flight part of your brain. And this part is responsible for processing emotions and also sending stress transmitters or making you feel nervous. And then the final thing is the release of endorphins, namely serotonin and dopamine. And these are hormones associated with a feeling of good. It's like your reward center in your brain. And once you have that reward, it reinforces that behavior and it continues to happen over and over again. Next, probably my favorite bit, make decisions and not choices. Again, I'm gonna repeat, make decisions and not choices. First thing, what is a choice? A choice is when you pick one of many options. A choice is when I ask you, what do you want to do? You tell me, I want to go into banking, and then I want to go into law, I want to start a business. You have multiple options, but a decision is split into two words. De, which is a prefix which means to cut, and side, which means from. So when you make a decision, you cut yourself from all possibilities. But when you make a choice, you leave all the options on the table. Has anyone ever gone for a diet before? Tried to do a diet, lose some weight? Anyone? Cool. Now, when you go on a diet, it's not easy. And when you make a choice, problem is when you're tired and the pizza's in the fridge or there's sweets around, you fall to the level of your preparation and then you cheat on your diet, right? Am I the only one? I know I'm hench and I'm pretty big, but I cheat on my diet as well. I cheat on my diet. But the point is, you make a choice, you leave all the options. But when you make a decision, you only focus on one outcome because you've cut all your choices and you're able to go through. So I want you guys to say, I won't make choices, I'll make decisions. I won't make choices, I'll make decisions. Give yourself a round of applause, guys. Nice.